Sometimes we get so caught up in talking about our dreams that we forget to start walking toward. We tell our friends what we're going to do. We post about it. We even make plans on paper. But talking doesn't change anything. Action does. You can have the best vision, the clearest goals, the strongest intentions, but if you don't take that first step, nothing will move. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need everyone's approval before you start. Some of your greatest victories will come when you quietly put your head down, work in silence, and let your results do the talking. People may underestimate you. They may doubt you, but that's all right. Let your progress surprise them. The truth is, life rewards action. Doors open when you move. Opportunities come when you put in the work. Every step you take, even the small ones, are moving you closer to your destiny. The most powerful way to silence doubt, whether from others or from your own mind, is to keep showing up and doing what you said you would do. And here's the thing. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Step out with what you have. Do what you can today, and as you move forward, the path will become clearer. Action has a way of attracting the right people, the right ideas, the right resources. So stop telling everyone what's about to happen. Just make it happen. Keep sowing seeds of effort. Keep moving in faith. Keep showing up. Soon you won't have to explain what you're doing. Your life will speak louder than your words. And when you look back, you'll see it was the quiet seasons of focused action that built the loudest victories. When you learn to keep your plans to yourself and pour all your energy into action, you'll find that your progress becomes stronger and your results speak for themselves. Too often, people drain their energy by constantly talking about what they are going to do. They tell their friends, post it online, and rehearse the same words over and over again. The problem is that all that talking gives a false sense of accomplishment. It tricks the mind into feeling like progress has been made when in reality nothing has changed. You can't build a house by describing it. You have to pick up the tools and start laying bricks. Silence fuels progress because it shifts the focus from impressing others with words to impressing yourself with results. When you stop explaining every move, you stop inviting opinions that can discourage or distract you. People often mean well, but their doubts can plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind. They might say it's too risky, too ambitious, or not realistic. When you stay silent and keep working, you protect your dream from unnecessary negativity. You also avoid the trap of seeking validation, the truth you've even taken a step. The truth is, real confidence comes from doing, not declaring. The more action you take, the more your belief in yourself grows. Silence also builds an element of surprise. While others are busy watching for signs of progress, you're behind the scenes laying a strong foundation. Then one day, they see what you've built and wonder how it happened so fast. That's the power of focused, quiet effort. It multiplies results without the noise. Think of a seed planted in the soil. It doesn't announce that it's about to sprout. It stays hidden, drawing strength, taking in nutrients, preparing itself for the moment it will break through the ground. In the same way, your quiet season is not wasted time. It's a season of preparation, and preparation in private leads to elevation in public. Some people mistake silence for inaction, but the truth is, it's often the opposite. When you're silent, you're conserving your energy for the real work. You're putting in the hours studying, practicing, building, creating. And because you're not constantly explaining yourself, you're free to make mistakes, learn from them, and grow without the pressure of an audience. Silence also allows you to stay focused on your own lane. When you talk too much about your plans, you open the door to comparison. You might start to feel pressure to measure your progress against someone else's timeline. But when you keep things to yourself, you're free to move at your own pace, staying true to your vision. The discipline of silence sharpens your mind. Without the distraction of constantly sharing updates, you're able to think deeper, plan smarter, and execute better. You notice opportunities others miss because your attention isn't scattered. You become a doer instead of a dream talker. And in the process, you develop resilience because your progress is no longer dependent on applause or approval. One of the greatest benefits of silence is that it builds credibility. Anyone can talk about what they want to do, but not everyone delivers. When people see that you consistently follow through without making a big announcement, they start to respect your word. Over time, your results become your reputation. You won't have to convince anyone you're serious. They'll see it for themselves. This approach also helps you avoid unnecessary pressure. When you make bold declarations publicly, you create an expectation that can weigh heavily on you. If you fall short or take longer than expected, you may feel embarrassed or discouraged. But when you work quietly, you have the freedom to adjust your plans without the fear of looking like you failed. You can pivot, refine, and improve without an audience keeping score. Silence fuels progress because it teaches patience. Instead of rushing to show off the first signs of success, you wait until your work is ready. You let your results mature so that when they are revealed, they are undeniable. This patience often leads to higher quality outcomes because you've given yourself the time and space to do things right. Quiet action also strengthens your inner drive. Without the instant gratification of public praise, you learn to find motivation. You work because you believe in the vision, not because you're chasing likes, comments, or recognition. This internal motivation is far more powerful and lasting than any external approval. It's what keeps you moving forward even when no one else is watching. Another thing silence does is protect your mental space. Every time you talk about your plans, you invite opinions, advice, sometimes criticism. Even when it's well-intentioned, it can clutter your mind with conflicting ideas. By keeping quiet, you create a mental shield that allows you to stay aligned with your own convictions. You can seek guidance when you need it, but you choose when and from whom, rather than leaving it open for everyone to weigh in. Working in silence also creates momentum. The more you focus on the work itself, the faster you make progress. Each small win builds on the last, and before you know it, you've achieved something significant. Momentum is powerful because it builds confidence and makes it easier to keep going, even through challenges. People often think they need to be seen to be making progress, but the truth is, some of the most significant growth happens when no one is looking. That's because there's no pressure to perform, no need to impress, and no distraction from the applause. It's just you, your vision, and the work. And in that space, great things are built. In the end, silence fuels progress because it strips away everything that doesn't matter and leaves you with what does. Consistent, focused, intentional action. When you stop talking and start doing, you take back your energy, your focus, and your power. You stop performing for others, start performing for your future. You stop explaining and start building. And when the time comes to reveal what you've been working on, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak for you louder than any announcement you could ever make. Small steps create big results because progress is rarely the product of one massive action, but rather the accumulation of countless small, consistent efforts over time. Many people delay starting because they believe they need to make a giant leap to see change. They think they have to wait for the perfect plan, the ideal resources, or the right timing. But the truth is, momentum is built by doing something small today, then doing another small thing tomorrow, and continuing that process until those steps add up to something significant. A single drop of water seems insignificant, but over time, enough drops can carve through solid rock. That's the power of steady, consistent effort. Each small action is like a seed planted. You may not see growth immediately, but beneath the surface, roots are forming, strength is being built, and the foundation is being laid for something greater. Every day that you take even the smallest step forward, you are creating a chain reaction of progress. The beauty of small steps is that they are manageable. They remove the feeling of overwhelm that often stops people from starting. You might not be able to climb the entire mountain in one day, but you can take one step toward it. That one step gets you closer than standing still. And once you've taken that step, it's easier to take the next, and then the next. Before long, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Small steps also create habits, and habits are the building blocks of lasting success. When you commit to doing something regularly, no matter how small, you are training your mind and body to move in alignment with your goals. That discipline becomes second nature, and what once felt like effort becomes a natural part of your routine. Over time, those habits compound, producing results far beyond what you imagined. This principle works in every area of life. If you want to improve your health, it might start with drinking more water each day or adding an extra 10 minutes of walking. If you want to grow your career, it might begin with reading a few pages of a book each night or dedicating 30 minutes to developing a new skill. These actions seem small in the moment, but when repeated consistently, they create powerful transformation. Another reason small steps matter is that they build confidence. And when you set a massive goal, it can feel intimidating and even impossible at first. But when you break it down into smaller actions, each completed step gives you a sense of accomplishment. That feeling of progress fuels motivation, making it easier to keep going. Success becomes less about reaching a distant destination and more about winning small victories along the way. There's also a psychological shift that happens when you focus on small steps. You stop waiting for motivation to act, and instead let action create motivation. Many people wait until they feel ready before starting, but the truth is, action generates the energy you need to keep moving. Taking one small step, even when you don't feel like it, sparks the momentum that carries you forward. Small steps also allow you to learn and adjust as you go. When you make small moves, you have the flexibility to adapt without risking everything at once. If something doesn't work, you can change direction with minimal setback. This approach reduces fear because you're not betting your entire dream on one single action. You're testing, learning, and improving along the way. Over time, those adjustments make your path more effective and your results more certain. Patience plays a huge role in this process. In a world that celebrates instant results, it's easy to become discouraged when progress feels slow. But big results are rarely instant. They are the outcome of steady, patient work. A farmer doesn't plant a seed today and expect a harvest tomorrow. They know the value of tending to it daily, trusting that the small acts of watering, protecting, and caring will eventually produce a rich harvest. The same is true for your goals. Persistence in small actions will eventually lead to a breakthrough. Another benefit of small steps is that they keep you moving even when life gets difficult. Challenges, distractions, and setbacks are inevitable. But if you've trained yourself to take small actions no matter what, you can maintain momentum even in tough seasons. You might not be able to make huge strides during difficult times, but you can still take a small step forward. And that's enough to keep your dream alive until you can move faster again. Small steps also create a sense of gratitude and mindfulness. Instead of only focusing on the end result, you learn to appreciate the process. Each day's action becomes a victory in itself. You start to see value in the journey, not just the destination. This mindset not only keeps you motivated, but also makes the process more fulfilling. Over time, small, consistent steps create a compounding effect. Just as small deposits into a savings account grow into a large sum with interest, small daily actions build into remarkable achievements. The progress may feel slow at first, but it accelerates as your skills improve, your habits strengthen, and your confidence grows. One day, you'll experience what feels like an overnight success, but in reality, it was the result of every small step you took along the way. The key is not to despise the days of small beginnings. What looks small now, simply the seed form of something much greater. Every great achievement began as a simple idea, followed by small, deliberate actions. The discipline of showing up every day, doing what you can with what you have, will lead to far greater results than waiting for the perfect moment to make a big move. And here's the truth. Those small steps will eventually become big strides. The effort that once felt difficult will feel natural. The progress that once seemed impossible will become your new normal. And when you look back, you'll realize that the small, steady actions you took with discipline and patience built the life you once dreamed of. That's the power of small steps. They turn visions into reality, dreams into achievements, and effort into legacy. Keep taking them even when they seem insignificant, because one day they will add up to something extraordinary. Faith moves with action because belief alone, without the willingness to step forward, remains dormant. Many people have dreams, visions, and the desire to see their lives change, but they wait for everything to be certain before they begin. They want the perfect signs, the flawless plan, and the absolute guarantee of success before they take the first step. The truth is, faith is not about moving when everything is sure. It's about moving when things are still unclear. Faith is trusting that the path will unfold as you walk it. It is believing that you have been equipped with what you need for the first step, and that the rest will be provided along the way. Action is the proof of faith. Without action, faith becomes nothing more than wishful thinking. You can say you believe in your dream, but if you never do anything to move toward it, your belief is incomplete. Faith is active. It breathes when you take steps toward your vision, even when you can't see the whole picture. It's like walking in a fog where you can only see a few feet, yet with each step forward, more of the road is revealed. This is why so many never see their dreams fulfilled. They wait for the fog to clear completely before they begin, not realizing that it only clears when you move. Taking action when you don't feel ready builds strength in both your character and your trust. Each step you take without knowing all the answers is a declaration that you believe something greater is guiding you. It's easy to move forward when every detail is laid out. It's another thing entirely to step into the unknown with nothing but conviction in your heart. That's where growth happens. Faith-driven action also sends a powerful signal to opportunities. When you move, you place yourself in the path of resources, people and situations that would have never come your way if you had stayed still. You can't steer a parked car. It doesn't matter how much horsepower it has, how shiny it looks, or how powerful the engine. Until you put it in gear and start driving, you're not going anywhere. The same is true for your life. Your dreams may be big, your talents extraordinary, your intentions pure, but none of that matters without motion. Many people misunderstand faith as something passive, as if believing strongly enough will cause things to happen without effort. But true faith works hand in hand with action. Believing opens the door, but action walks through it. Action is the commitment that shows you're serious about your belief. Without it, even the strongest dreams remain trapped in the realm of imagination. Sometimes taking action with faith means starting small. It could be making that phone call, sending that email, taking that class, or saving that first dollar. These small acts fueled by faith carry a power far greater than their size. They are a signal to yourself and the world that you are ready for more. And as you do your part, faith assures you that the rest will fall into place at the right time. Faith-driven action also changes how you respond to challenges. When obstacles appear, instead of seeing them as signs to quit, you see them as tests of your belief. You trust that each challenge is shaping you for the fulfillment of your vision. This mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones. You keep moving, knowing that the delay is not denial, and that every moment of persistence is building something valuable inside you. Another truth about faith in action is that the act of moving creates clarity. People often think they need clarity before they can act, but more often clarity comes from acting. When you start, you learn what works and what doesn't. You discover strengths you didn't know you had and uncover better ways of doing things. If you remain still, you stay stuck in theory. Movement brings revelation. There's also a deep sense of peace that comes from knowing you are doing your part. Faith doesn't mean you control everything. It means you trust that what you can't control will work for your good as you keep moving forward. This combination, doing what you can and trusting for what you can't, creates a balance between responsibility and surrender. It removes the weight of trying to figure everything out and replaces it with the freedom to focus on today's step. Faith with action also impacts the people around you. When others see you moving toward your dream despite uncertainty, it inspires them to consider what's possible in their own lives. Your example becomes a silent encouragement that it's okay to begin without all the answers. You become living proof that courage and persistence are powerful forces. Sometimes faith with action requires walking away from comfort. Comfort zones can be dangerous because they keep you safe but stagnant. You might have to leave behind familiar routines, people's approval, or a secure but unfulfilling situation to pursue what you truly desire. Faith is trusting that leaving what's comfortable will lead to something better, even if you can't see it yet. That step might be scary, but it is often the step that changes everything. Another important aspect of faith-driven action is persistence. It's not just about starting once. It's about continuing day after day, even when the excitement fades. Anyone can start strong, but faith keeps you moving when results are slow. This kind of persistence is not fueled by temporary motivation, but by a deep belief that what you are working toward is worth the effort. It is this steady commit that eventually turns dreams into reality. Faith with action also means being willing to adjust along the way. Sometimes what you envision in the beginning changes as you gain more insight and experience. Staying flexible doesn't mean you've lost faith. It means you're wise enough to adapt. Faith gives you the courage to keep moving, even when the route changes, trusting that every turn has a purpose. You also learn to celebrate progress instead of only focusing on the finish line. Each step you take is a victory because it represents another act of faith. When you celebrate the small wins, you reinforce your belief and fuel your energy for the next step. This keeps your spirit strong and your heart motivated through the ups and downs. One of the most empowering truths about faith and action is that they create momentum. Each action builds on the last, and as you keep going, you gain speed. The obstacles that once felt overwhelming become easier to overcome because your confidence and capability grow with every move you make. This momentum makes it harder for doubt to take root because you have a history of progress to look back on. Faith with action also shapes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who only talks about dreams and start seeing yourself as someone who lives them.